Someone's changing your mind right now and you don't even realize it. Maybe it's a friend who always makes you feel guilty for saying no. Maybe it's a partner who twists your words until you're apologizing for things you didn't do. Manipulation doesn't announce itself. It just quietly rewrites your reality. In this video, I'll show you exactly how psychological manipulation works. We'll break down 5 tactics manipulators use to control your thoughts, emotions, and decisions. You'll learn how to spot gaslighting before it distorts your memory, recognize emotional blackmail disguised as care, and understand why guilt is their favorite weapon. By the end, you'll have the tools to protect yourself from people who see your empathy as a weakness. So stick around, because once you see these patterns, you can't unsee them. Here's the thing about manipulation. It's not always obvious. It's not some villain twirling a mustache. It's subtle. It's your coworker who plays victim to avoid responsibility. It's the friend who love bombs you one day and gives you the silent treatment the next. Psychologically speaking, manipulation is when someone uses covert tactics to influence your behavior for their benefit, not yours. They exploit your trust, your kindness, your need for approval. And here's why this matters. When you can't recognize manipulation, you start doubting yourself. You think you're the problem. You become smaller, quieter, more compliant. But once you understand the psychology behind it, you take your power back. First tactic, gaslighting, the reality distortion field. This is when someone makes you question your own memory, perception, or sanity. They'll deny things they definitely said. They'll tell you you're too sensitive or imagining things. Picture this. You confront your partner about a hurtful comment they made. Instead of apologizing, they say, "I never said that." You're making things up again. Suddenly, you're defending your version of reality while they rewrite history. Gaslighting works because of something psychologists call social proof. When someone confidently denies your experience, especially someone you trust, your brain starts to wonder, wait, am I wrong? Over time, this chips away at your confidence. You stop trusting your instincts. You become dependent on their version of truth. Here's the insight. Manipulators gaslight because they can't afford for you to trust yourself. If you trust your perception, you'll see what they're doing. So they make you doubt everything. The practical tip? Start documenting. Keep texts, emails, even a private journal. When someone denies reality, you'll have evidence that proves you're not crazy. Trust yourself first. Second tactic, guilt tripping, the emotional hostage situation. Manipulators are masters at making you feel responsible for their feelings. They'll say things like, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me," or "I guess I'm just not important to you." Notice how quickly they flip the script. You set a boundary and suddenly you're the bad guy. Imagine you tell a friend you can't help them move this weekend because you're exhausted. A healthy friend says, "No problem, thanks anyway." A manipulator? "Wow, I thought I could count on you. I've always been there for you, but whatever." Now you feel guilty. You reconsider. Maybe you should help. That's the trap. Psychologically, this works because most people are wired for reciprocity and empathy. We don't want to hurt others. Manipulators know this. They weaponize your kindness. They make their emotional state your responsibility, so you'll do what they want just to relieve the guilt. Here's how to counter it. Remember that setting boundaries isn't selfish. You're allowed to say no without justifying yourself to death. And if someone consistently makes you feel guilty for having needs, that's not love or friendship, that's control. Third tactic, playing the victim, the pity shield. This one's sneaky. The manipulator always positions themselves as the underdog, the misunderstood one, the person life keeps kicking. They tell dramatic stories where they're always wronged. Why? Because when you see someone as a victim, you lower your guard. You make excuses for their bad behavior. Think about that person who never takes accountability. They're late? Traffic is always against me. They snapped at you? I've just been through so much, you know? They betrayed your trust? You don't understand how hard my life is. Every time you try to address their behavior, they redirect to their suffering. And you end up comforting them instead of holding them accountable. The psychology here is fascinating. It's called weaponized vulnerability. They use your compassion against you. You don't want to be cruel to someone who's already struggling, right? So you tolerate things you shouldn't. You ignore red flags. You give chance after chance. The wake-up call. Genuine victims don't constantly use their pain to avoid responsibility. They don't weaponize it to manipulate sympathy. If someone's life story is always a tragedy and they're never at fault, that's a pattern. See it for what it is. Fourth tactic, love bombing and withdrawal, the emotional roller coaster. Manipulators shower you with attention, affection, and praise until they don't. They're hot and cold. One day you're their favorite person, the next you're ignored. This creates something psychologists call intermittent reinforcement, and it's incredibly addictive. Picture a new romantic relationship. They text you constantly, call you soulmate material, make you feel like you've finally found the one. Then suddenly, crickets. They're distant, cold. You panic. What did you do wrong? When they finally come back, you're so relieved that you overlook the pattern. And the cycle repeats. This works because unpredictable rewards are more addictive than consistent ones. It's the same mechanism behind gambling. Your brain becomes obsessed with getting back to the high of their approval. You start walking on eggshells, trying to figure out what makes them stay warm. You lose yourself trying to keep them happy. The reality check. Healthy relationships are consistent. People who genuinely care about you don't make you constantly guess where you stand. They don't use affection as a reward for compliance. If you're on an emotional roller coaster with someone, that's not passion, that's manipulation. Get off the ride. Fifth tactic, triangulation, divide and conquer. This is when a manipulator brings a third person into the dynamic to make you feel insecure or jealous. They'll compare you to an ex, a coworker, a friend. Well, Sarah never had a problem with this. My ex understood me better. They create competition where there shouldn't be any. Why do this? Control. When you're insecure, you try harder to please them. You compete for their approval. You become so focused on proving you're better than the third person that you stop questioning their behavior. Here's the cold truth. Manipulators don't compare you to others because those people were actually better. They do it because it works. It makes you doubt your worth. It makes you more compliant, more desperate to win them back. Don't fall for it. People who value you don't pit you against others. They don't need to manufacture jealousy to feel powerful. That's not a relationship, that's a mind game. So, what can you actually do with this information? First, trust your gut. If someone consistently makes you feel confused, guilty, or not good enough, that's your intuition screaming at you. Listen to it. Second, create space. You don't need to confront every manipulator. Sometimes the best response is distance. Pull back, observe patterns, protect your peace. And third, build a support system of people who don't make you question reality. Surround yourself with relationships that feel steady, honest, and safe. That contrast will make manipulation obvious when it shows up. Bottom line, manipulation thrives in silence and confusion. But now you know the playbook. You can spot the tactics, trust yourself, and walk away from people who drain your energy. So here's my question. Have you experienced any of these manipulation tactics? Drop a comment and let's talk about it. And if this video opened your eyes, hit that like button and subscribe for more psychology insights. Remember, your reality is yours. Don't let anyone rewrite it.